Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English with Lee. I'm very happy you're here today. Many English learners understand a lot of English. They watch videos, they listen to podcasts, they read books. But when they meet someone in real life, something difficult happens. They don't know how to start a conversation. The first sentence feels like the hardest sentence in the world.
Yes, that is exactly my problem. If someone starts talking to me, I can usually answer, but starting the conversation myself, that feels scary.
That's a very common feeling. The beginning of a conversation can feel like a big step. Your mind may ask many questions. What should I say? What if the person doesn't want to talk? What if my English sounds strange? These thoughts can make you feel nervous before you even speak.
Yes, sometimes I think too much before saying anything.
And that thinking can stop the conversation before it even begins. But today, we are going to make this much easier. Because starting small talk in English does not require complicated sentences. In fact, most small talk begins with very simple observations.
Observations?
Yes, something you notice around you. For example, imagine you are waiting in line at a coffee shop. You could say something simple like, "This place is really busy today." That sentence is not a question. It's just a comment about the situation.
Oh, that feels much easier than asking a big question.
Exactly. Comments feel natural and relaxed. They invite conversation without pressure. Let's imagine that situation together. You and another person are standing in line at a cafe. You look around and say, "This cafe is really busy today." Now, the other person has an opportunity to respond. They might say, "Yes, it's always busy in the morning." And just like that, the conversation begins.
That actually feels very natural.
Yes, many conversations begin with these small moments. Let's try another example. Imagine you are at an airport. Flights are delayed. People are waiting at the gate. You could say something like, "It looks like our flight is delayed." Yes, that happens a lot. Yes, and the other person might respond, "Yes, I think it's about an hour late." Now you have started a conversation.
So, small talk often begins with shared situations.
Exactly. The environment gives you conversation topics. Weather, waiting in line, travel, food. These are safe and easy subjects. Now, let's practice a short role play. We're both waiting for a train. You start the conversation.
Okay, I'll try. This station is really busy today.
Yes, it is. I think many people are traveling this afternoon.
Yes, maybe because it's the weekend.
That sounds very natural. You made a comment, I responded, then you added another idea. That is the rhythm of small talk.
It feels less stressful when we practice like this.
Yes, because real conversations are not complicated. They are built with simple sentences and shared experiences. Now, let's talk about another easy way to start small talk. A simple greeting plus a question. For example, "Hi, how's your day going?" This question is friendly and casual.
I hear that question often.
Yes, and the answer can also be simple. You could say, "It's going well, thanks," or "Pretty good, how about you?"
So we don't need a long answer.
Exactly. Small talk is usually light and short. It is not a deep conversation. It is simply a way to connect with another person. Let's practice a small conversation. "Hi there, how's your day going?"
It's going well, thank you. How about yours?
"Pretty good. It's been a busy morning, though."
Yes, mornings can be busy.
That conversation is simple but natural.
I noticed something. These conversations are built with very short sentences.
That's an important observation. Many learners think they need long sentences to sound fluent, that natural conversations are often made of many short sentences. Short sentences are easier to understand. They are also easier to say when you feel nervous. Now, let's talk about another common small talk topic, the weather. Weather conversations happen everywhere in the world.
Yes, people always talk about the weather.
That's because it's something everyone experiences. You could say, "It's really hot today," or "It looks like it might rain," or "The weather is beautiful today." These simple comments can start conversations anywhere.
Even in an elevator?
Yes, even in an elevator. Imagine you enter an elevator with someone. You could say, "It's really hot outside today." The other person might respond, "Yes, it feels like summer already." And now you have a small conversation.
That actually feels very natural.
Yes, many conversations begin with these small moments. Now, let's explore another situation, meeting someone through a friend. This happens at social events, gatherings, or workplaces. A friend introduces you. They might say, "This is my friend, James."
That always makes me nervous.
But there is a very simple response. You can say, "Nice to meet you," or "Nice to meet you. I'm James." Then you can ask a small question. For example, "How do you know Alex?"
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, it keeps the conversation flowing. Let's practice that situation. I will introduce you to someone. Ready?
Ready.
James, this is my friend, Sarah.
Nice to meet you, Sarah. How do you know Lee?
Perfect. That is exactly how small talk works. Simple greeting, friendly question, conversation begins.
When I hear these examples, I realize something. The first sentence doesn't need to be perfect.
Exactly. The goal is not perfection. The goal is connection. Now, let's talk about another fear many learners have, the fear of bothering someone. Sometimes learners think, what if the person doesn't want to talk?
Yes, I worry about that sometimes.
But small talk is optional. If someone wants to talk, they will respond warmly. If they are busy or tired, they might give a short answer. Both situations are normal.
So we should not take it personally.
Exactly. Small talk is simply an invitation to connect. Sometimes it becomes a conversation. Sometimes it stays very short. Both outcomes are completely okay. But there is another challenge many learners experience. Sometimes they start a conversation, but after a few sentences, they don't know what to say next.
Yes, that happens to me a lot.
Let's talk about how to continue the conversation. Many learners can start a conversation with a greeting or a small comment, but after 2 or 3 sentences, something happens. The conversation suddenly becomes quiet. Your mind searches for something to say, but nothing comes.
Yes, that moment feels very awkward. I start thinking, what should I say now?
That feeling is very common, but there is a simple solution. You can continue a conversation by asking easy follow-up questions. Follow-up questions are questions connected to what the other person just said.
So we just ask about the same topic?
Exactly. Let's imagine someone says, "I just moved to this city." Instead of changing the topic, you can ask something related. For example, "Oh, really? When did you move here?" Or, "How do you like the city so far?"
That sounds very natural.
Yes, you're showing interest in what they said. Interest keeps conversations alive. Let's practice a small example. I'll say something, and you ask a follow-up question. Ready?
Ready.
I started a new job last month.
Oh, really? What kind of job is it?
Perfect. That question continues the conversation naturally. Now imagine I answer, I work at a marketing company. What could you ask next?
Maybe, do you enjoy working there?
Excellent. That is another great follow-up question. You see how the conversation continues step by step.
Yes, each question helps the conversation grow.
Exactly. Conversations are like building blocks. One idea leads to another idea. Now let's explore another helpful technique, sharing a small personal experience. This makes conversations more balanced. If someone tells you something, you can respond and share something similar. For example, imagine someone says, I went hiking last weekend. You could say, that sounds fun. I went hiking last month with my friends.
So we connect their experience with our own.
Yes, this creates a natural exchange. Let's practice a short role play. I'll start. I watched a really interesting movie yesterday.
Oh, really? What movie was it?
It was a science fiction film.
That sounds interesting. I like science fiction movies too.
Very good. You asked a question and then shared your interest. That keeps the conversation flowing.
I noticed something. These conversations are not complicated.
That's right. Natural conversations often follow a simple pattern. Listen, react, ask, share. This pattern creates smooth communication.
Listen, react, ask, share. That's easy to remember.
Yes, and it works in many situations. Now let's talk about another helpful skill, using reaction phrases. These are short expressions that show emotion or interest. For example, oh really? That's interesting. That sounds fun. That's great.
I hear those a lot.
Yes, they are very common in English conversations. They show that you are listening, and they give your brain time to think about what to say next. Let's practice. I'll tell you something. You respond with a reaction phrase. Ready?
Okay.
I tried a new restaurant yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes, the food was amazing.
That sounds great.
Perfect. Those small reactions make conversations feel natural.
And they are easy to remember.
Exactly. Now let's imagine another situation. You meet someone at a social event. They tell you something about their hobby. For example, I enjoy photography.
What could I say next?
You could say, oh, that's interesting. What kind of photography do you like?
That feels like a natural question.
Yes. Then they might say, I like taking pictures of nature. Now you can react and continue the conversation. You might say, that sounds relaxing, or I've always wanted to try photography.
I see. We just follow the topic.
Exactly. Conversations grow when we stay curious. Now let's try another role play. Imagine we meet at a small event. I'll start the conversation. Hi there. Have you been to this event before?
No, it's my first time here.
Oh, really? How do you like it so far?
I like it. The people seem very friendly.
Yes, I think so too. What made you decide to come today?
I wanted to meet new people and practice my English.
That's a great reason. See how the conversation moves step by step?
Yes, each question leads to another idea.
Exactly. Now let's talk about another helpful habit, repeating a key word from the other person's sentence. This is a very natural conversation technique. For example, imagine someone says, I visited Japan last year. You could respond, oh, you visited Japan?
So we repeat the important word.
Yes, it shows that you are listening, and it encourages the person to continue speaking. Let's practice. I will say something. You repeat the key idea. Ready?
Ready.
I started learning Spanish.
Oh, you started learning Spanish?
Exactly. Now I might continue the conversation. I started learning Spanish because I want to travel. Then you could ask, where do you want to travel?
That makes the conversation very smooth.
Yes, repeating key ideas is a powerful listening skill. Now let's talk about another situation. Sometimes conversations suddenly stop. There's a short silence.
That silence feels uncomfortable.
Yes, many people feel that way, but silence is not always bad. Sometimes people are thinking. However, if you want to continue the conversation, you can introduce a new topic. One easy way is asking about weekend plans. For example, do you have any plans for the weekend?
That's a common question.
Yes, and it works in many situations. People enjoy talking about their free time. Another good topic is food. You could ask, do you have a favorite restaurant around here?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, food is a universal topic. Almost everyone enjoys talking about it. Let's practice a short conversation. The conversation becomes quiet. You start a new topic.
Okay. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Yes, I'm planning to visit a park with some friends. How about you?
I might watch a movie and relax at home.
That sounds like a nice weekend. See? A new topic restarted the conversation.
That's very helpful.
Good. Now let's talk about something very important for small talk, smiling. A friendly smile makes conversations easier. Even if your English is simple, your positive attitude makes communication comfortable.
Yes, smiling makes people feel relaxed.
Exactly. Body language is part of communication. Eye contact, nodding, smiling. These signals show friendliness and confidence.
So, communication is not only about words.
Correct. Words are important, but your attitude also matters. When you're relaxed and friendly, conversations feel natural. Now we have talked about starting conversations and continuing them, but there's another moment that many learners find difficult: ending a conversation politely. Sometimes you need to leave. Maybe you have work to do, maybe you need to go somewhere else, but you don't want to sound rude.
Yes, I never know how to end a conversation naturally.
Let's talk about that next. Let's talk about how to end a conversation politely. This is something many English learners worry about. You are talking with someone. The conversation is friendly, but you need to leave. Maybe you have another meeting. Maybe you need to go home. Maybe you simply want to move on. And suddenly you think, how do I end this conversation without sounding rude?
Yes, that moment feels a little uncomfortable.
But the good news is that English has many polite phrases for ending conversations. These phrases are friendly and natural. They show appreciation for the conversation, and they explain that you need to leave. Let's start with a very common one. You can say, "It was nice talking with you."
That sounds polite.
Yes, it's simple and friendly. You can also say, "I enjoyed our conversation," or "It was great meeting you." These phrases create a positive ending.
But what if I need to explain why I'm leaving?
That's a good question. You can add a simple reason. For example, "I should get going now," or "I have to run," or "I need to get back to work." These phrases sound natural and polite.
So we can combine them.
Exactly. Let's build a complete example. "It was nice talking with you, but I should get going now."
That sounds very natural.
Yes, people use this phrase all the time. Let's try a small role play. We're talking at a social event. You decide to end the conversation.
Okay. It was really nice talking with you, but I should get going now.
Nice talking with you too. Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
Perfect. That is a polite and friendly ending.
It feels simple when we practice it like this.
Yes, many communication skills become easier with practice. Now let's explore another useful situation, exchanging contact information. Sometimes small talk becomes a meaningful conversation. You may want to stay in touch.
Yes, that happens sometimes at events.
In that situation, you could say something like this: "It would be nice to stay in touch." Or, "Do you use LinkedIn?" Or, "Can I add you on social media?" These are friendly ways to continue the connection.
That sounds useful for networking.
Yes, especially in professional environments. Let's imagine a short conversation at a conference. "I really enjoyed talking about marketing with you."
Me too.
"It would be nice to stay in touch. Are you on LinkedIn?"
Yes, I am.
Great, let's connect there. That is a natural way to extend a conversation into a future connection.
I like that example.
Good. Now let's talk about something else that happens during conversations: misunderstanding. Sometimes you don't understand what someone says. Maybe they speak quickly. Maybe the vocabulary is unfamiliar.
Yes, that happens to me often.
But that situation is completely normal. Even native speakers ask for clarification sometimes. The important thing is knowing polite phrases to ask again. For example, "Sorry, could you repeat that?"
That's a useful one.
Another helpful phrase is, "Could you say that a little slower?" This phrase is polite and clear.
Sometimes I feel shy asking that.
But remember, communication is a shared responsibility. If you don't understand something, it is okay to ask. Most people are happy to repeat or explain. Now let's practice a short example. I will say something quickly, then you ask me to repeat it. Ready?
Ready.
"I visited the botanical garden yesterday, and it was amazing."
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Of course. "I visited the botanical garden yesterday."
Oh, that sounds nice.
Excellent. You handled the situation naturally.
Yes, asking politely makes it easier.
Exactly. Now let's explore another common challenge: forgetting a word while speaking. This happens to every language learner. You start a sentence, then suddenly your brain cannot remember the word.
That happens to me all the time.
Instead of stopping the conversation, you can describe the idea. For example, imagine you forget the word umbrella. You could say, "It's the thing you use when it rains."
Oh, that's clever.
Yes, describing helps you continue speaking. Communication is about sharing ideas, not perfect vocabulary.
That removes a lot of pressure.
Exactly. Now let's practice a short example. Imagine you forgot the word headphones. How could you describe it?
Maybe the thing you use to listen to music on your ears?
Perfect. That description is clear. People would understand immediately.
I feel more confident knowing I can explain words.
Good. That flexibility is a powerful communication skill. Now let's talk about another important part of small talk: positive reactions. When someone shares something good, it's nice to respond with encouragement. For example, if someone says, "I just got a new job," you could say, "Congratulations."
Yes, that sounds friendly.
Another example, someone says, "I'm going on vacation next week." You could respond, "That sounds exciting."
These responses make conversations warmer.
Exactly. Positive reactions create a friendly atmosphere. Now let's imagine another conversation. "I just finished a big project at work."
Congratulations, that must feel great.
Yes, it does. Thank you. See how that reaction supports the conversation?
Yes, it feels encouraging.
Encouragement builds stronger connections in conversation. Now let's talk about another moment many learners experience: running out of things to say. The conversation slows down, and you feel unsure what to say next.
Yes, sometimes my mind becomes completely empty.
That's very normal. When that happens, you can return to simple topics: food, travel, hobbies, weekend plans. These subjects are easy and friendly. You could ask, "What kind of food do you like?" Or, "Do you enjoy traveling?"
Those questions are easy to remember.
Yes, and they often lead to interesting conversations. People enjoy talking about things they like. Now, we have explored many skills: starting conversations, continuing conversations, ending conversations politely, handling misunderstandings, but there's another important element that can transform small talk into meaningful communication.
Yes, sometimes I hesitate to share my opinions.
Let's talk about how to express your thoughts naturally. Let's talk about how to express your thoughts naturally. Many English learners can answer questions, but when it comes to sharing their own opinions, they hesitate. Their mind asks questions like, "What if my sentence is wrong? What if I can't explain my idea clearly?" Because of that fear, they sometimes stay quiet.
Yes, I often feel that way. If someone asks my opinion, I start thinking too much.
That's very normal, but sharing your opinion does not require complicated language. You only need a few simple phrases. For example, you can start with, "I think," or "in my opinion," or "I feel like." These phrases introduce your idea in a natural way.
So we don't need a long explanation.
Exactly. Let's try a simple example. Imagine someone asks, "What do you think about this cafe?" You could say, "I think it's really nice," or "I think the coffee is great."
That feels easy to say.
Yes, and if you want to add more detail, you can give a reason. For example, "I think the coffee is great because it tastes very fresh."
So the pattern is simple. Opinion first, then reason.
Exactly. Let's practice. I'll ask you a question. You answer with your opinion. Ready?
Ready.
What do you think about traveling?
I think traveling is exciting because you can experience new cultures.
That was a great answer. Clear and natural.
It felt easier than I expected.
Yes, simple structures are powerful. Now let's talk about another useful phrase. You can say, "I agree," or "I agree with you." This phrase shows that you share the same opinion.
That sounds very useful in conversations.
Yes, especially when someone expresses an idea. For example, someone might say, "I think mornings are the best time to work." You could respond, "I agree. I feel more productive in the morning."
That feels like a natural conversation.
Exactly. Now let's explore the opposite situation. Sometimes you may have a different opinion. You may disagree, but it's important to disagree politely.
Yes, I don't want to sound rude.
A polite way to disagree is saying, "I see what you mean, but," or "That's a good point, but." These phrases show respect before sharing a different idea.
That sounds very polite.
Let's try an example. I'll say something, you respond with a different opinion. Ready?
Okay.
"I think winter is the best season."
I see what you mean, but I prefer summer.
Excellent. That response sounds respectful and natural.
It felt much better than just saying no.
Exactly. Polite disagreement keeps conversations friendly. Now let's talk about another helpful skill: asking for someone's opinion. Conversations become more interesting when both people share ideas. You can ask questions like, "What do you think?" or "How about you?"
I hear people say, "How about you?" very often.
Yes, it's a very common phrase. It invites the other person to share their thoughts. Let's practice a short conversation. "I think this restaurant has great food. What do you think?"
I agree. The food is really delicious.
Perfect. That's how opinions create dialogue.
I see how conversations grow step by step.
Yes, sharing ideas, reacting, and asking questions creates a natural rhythm. Now let's talk about something that can make conversations more engaging: storytelling. Sometimes people share small stories from their daily life. These stories do not need to be long. They can be very simple. For example, yesterday I tried a new restaurant, or last weekend I visited a park.
That sounds like normal conversation.
Yes, and after you tell a short story, the other person may ask questions. Let's try a role play. You share a short story.
Okay. Yesterday, I watched a really interesting movie.
Oh, really? What movie was it?
It was a science fiction movie.
That sounds interesting. See how your story created a conversation?
Yes, it encouraged you to ask questions.
Exactly. Stories help people connect. They make conversations feel more personal. Now let's explore another situation, talking about plans. People often talk about their future plans. For example, what are you doing this weekend?
That question appears a lot in small talk.
Yes, because it is easy and friendly. You can answer with simple sentences. For example, I'm going to visit a friend, or I'm planning to relax at home, or I might go to the gym.
Those answers are easy to remember.
Yes, and they often lead to follow-up questions. Let's practice a small conversation. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Yes, I'm planning to watch a movie and relax. How about you?
I'm thinking about going hiking.
That sounds fun.
Perfect. Short answers and reactions keep the conversation moving. I'm noticing a pattern in all these conversations. What pattern?
They all use simple English.
That's exactly the point. Effective communication is not about complicated words. It's about clarity, friendliness, and connection. Simple English can create meaningful conversations.
That makes speaking feel much less stressful.
Good. Now let's talk about another important habit: confidence in your voice. Sometimes learners speak very softly because they feel nervous.
Yes, my voice becomes very quiet when I'm unsure.
But speaking clearly helps communication. You don't need to speak loudly, just speak calmly and clearly. Take your time. Pause if needed. There is no rush in conversation.
That advice makes me feel more relaxed.
Good. Confidence grows with practice. Every conversation makes the next one easier. Now we have talked about many conversation skills: starting small talk, continuing conversations, ending conversations politely, sharing opinions, telling small stories. But there is one final idea that can truly change how learners approach speaking English. And that idea is something very simple. It is the habit of speaking without fear of imperfection.
That sounds important.
Yes, and that is exactly what we will talk about next.
Let's talk about speaking without fear of imperfection. This idea is one of the most important things for every English learner to understand. Many learners believe they must wait until their English becomes perfect before they start speaking confidently. They think, when my grammar is perfect, I will speak. When my vocabulary is bigger, I will speak. When my pronunciation improves, I will speak. But that moment almost never arrives.
Yes, I think many learners wait for that perfect moment.
Exactly. But language does not work that way. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence grows because of speaking. Every conversation you have teaches your brain something new. Your mind becomes more comfortable with the language. Your reactions become faster. And little by little, your fear becomes smaller.
I think I felt that before. The first time I spoke English with a stranger, I was very nervous. But after a few minutes, it became easier.
Yes, that is a perfect example. The beginning is often the hardest part, but once the conversation starts, your brain begins to relax. Now let's imagine a real-life situation. You are at a coffee shop. You notice someone sitting next to you with a laptop. You decide to start a small conversation.
Okay.
You might say something simple like, "Hi, do you come here often?"
That sounds like a natural question.
Yes. Then the other person might respond, "Yes, I come here sometimes to work." Now the conversation can continue. You might say, "That's nice. It seems like a good place to work."
And the conversation continues naturally.
Exactly. Simple sentences create real communication. Now let's imagine another situation. You are traveling. You meet someone at a tourist attraction. You could start with a simple question like, "Is this your first time here?"
That sounds like a common travel question.
Yes, and it often leads to interesting conversations. Let's try a short role play, a friendly, everyday conversation. I'll start. "Hi, James. How was your day today?"
It was good. I finished some work and relaxed a little. How about you?
"My day was good too. I spent some time preparing lessons."
That sounds interesting.
Yes, I enjoy helping people practice English.
Well, thank you for helping us today.
You're very welcome. And to everyone listening right now, remember something important. You don't need perfect English to connect with people. You only need courage to start speaking. Use simple sentences, ask friendly questions, share your thoughts, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. Language learning is a journey. Every conversation is a step forward. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in your progress.
And we'll see you again soon. Learning English together.